Okay, here we are on section 6.2.6. This will be the last section of chapter 6, and we'll do a little mini project coming up in the next few days. So, I'm just going to show you how to do number 98 as an example, and then you'll have a few practice problems to work on later on in the section. So, you can read this along with me as I read it. So we have Kenan, who loves trains, and he's going to be working with model trains. So the idea of model trains is that they're meant to be scaled down versions of the real train. In other words, they're proportionally the same. So they have the same shape, the same proportions, but they're not the same size. Obviously, then they wouldn't fit in his room. So there'll be a scale factor here, which is very common in models. And we have some information. The real track has a gauge, meaning that's how far apart the rails are, of 36 inches. So I'm going to set up some information here. We have the model, and then we have the real train. So if the real train track are 36 inches apart, and the model train track is 3/4 inches apart, and we know that they're proportional, how do we figure out the scale factor? Well, you just had a chance to take a crack at it, so if you remember, the formula is the new over the original. So if we go 36 divided by 3/4, this is where you have to remember your pre-algebra. So I'm going to bring this back down here. Dividing by a fraction is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal, so that's the same as 36 times 4/3. 3 cancels there, leaving a 12, and we end up getting 48. So what this means is that everything in real life is going to be 48 times as big as everything in the model. Or everything in the model is going to be 48 times smaller. So where we can use that is in a problem like this. If he has so the Rio Grande train he wants to model has driving wheels that measure 44 inches high. Those are 44 inches high in real life. So there's our real life train wheel with a height of 44. And this is going to be our model. It's not going to be drawn to scale because it's hard to draw something 48 times smaller. But this is going to be X. And how do we get from 44 to X? Give you a chance to answer that question. Okay, so to go from X to 44, we multiply by 48. So to go backwards from 44 to X, we divide by 48. So therefore, 44 divided by 48. You can punch it into your calculator, which I'm doing off the screen, but you can't see it. 44 divided by 48, it's going to be something smaller than 1. It's about 0.9 inches. So just a little bit under an inch is how big these model train will be. And that is scaled down from the real life version of a 44 inch, which is just under 4 feet tall. Okay, that's it for this little preview, and now you can continue on to do the problems and submit the form for CPM.